Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or my list and sideboard guides before tournaments, check out Patreon or the YouTube membership program. This channel is made possible by these amazing sponsors. Check out all their links in the video description below. Once again, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing some Legacy. And this is a dealer's choice from Patreon subscriber Derek, who recently had a baby. Baby Ethan, welcome to the world. And Derek sponsored this league, so he has something to do while he's feeding the baby, changing diapers, doing all that stuff that comes with having a newborn in the house. Congratulations to Derek and your partner. Congratulations to Ethan for existing. And we have in front of us an exciting one. I frequently use dealer's choices to play decks that I would want to play. Like if nobody's asked me to update Hotbant or whatever, I would do that. But I've been doing a lot of that lately, so I went the other way and used this one to play a deck that nobody asked me to play, but is very exciting. I didn't have a plan for this one specifically. I'm recording this on a Monday morning, the day after the MTGO challenge information from the previous weekend came out, and Mono White Hammer top 4'd the MTGO challenge on April 29th. I'm recording this on May 1st, so this is hot off the presses. This is a deck that did well in a real tournament over this past weekend. Hammer is, of course, a premier deck in Modern. It's one of the top 3 decks in the format. It's been around basically since Urza Saga was printed, another spicy archetype enabled by Urza Saga. I love you, Urza Saga. You're very cool. The point of this deck is to equip Colossus Hammer to something that will kill your opponent quickly. +10/+10 is a lot of stats. We have Sigarda's Aid. Aura and equipments have Flash, and when an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you can attach it to target creature. This is a 2-mana +10/+10 if you have Sigarda's Aid plus Colossus Hammer. And we have Puresteel Paladin. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card, and Metalcraft equipping costs 0 if you have 3 or more artifacts. This is a way to get Colossus Hammer onto something or move it around once it's there. 8 ways to equip the hammer, and we have the 4 hammers themselves. Urza Saga can tutor hammer. Stoneforge Mystic can tutor hammer. That's 12 routes to hammer, and 8 ways to equip it. Then we have some creatures that can hold the hammer effectively. Ornithopter has flying. Esper Sentinel. If your opponent wants to pay 11 to stop you from drawing a card when they cast their removal spell, go for it. Stoneforge and Puresteel can of course hold the hammer themselves, and Urza Saga will be cranking out constructs that will be big because we have a bunch of artifacts laying around anyway. Cranial Plating is a 1-of in the Stoneforge Mystic package. Sword of Fire and Ice, also a 1-of in the Stoneforge Mystic package. Retrofitter Foundry in the Saga package for when you need to get a little grindy. You can also flip Ornithopters into 4/4s. Shadow Spear comes out of Saga or out of Stoneforge if you need that. This build of the deck compared to the Modern version, you have a removal spell you're happy to play in Swords to Plowshares. Generally, if you're swinging for 11 or 21 or 22, you don't mind giving them 1 life to clear a Baleful Strix or whatever out of your way. That's an exciting addition. Wasteland is a card that doesn't exist in Modern. Never has. Wasteland comes at the cost of Inkmoth Nexus, which is an important part of the Modern version of this deck. Just 11ing someone with poison is a 1-shot kill. By not including a poison creature, we are requiring either 2 attacks or 2 hammers in 1 attack, which is a texture that is relevant. And we got to keep an eye on that, but Wasteland is, of course, an excellent card. And Wasteland is a reason not to play Inkmoth Nexus. Just exposing your best attacker to an onboard Wasteland makes a lot of sense. Someone did the math here. And 4 Mox Opal, a card that is banned in Modern. The Modern build of this deck plays Springleaf Drum and Memnite, both of which are worse than Mox Opal. We also get Ancient Den, another card that's banned in Modern, and that can turn on the Opal and function in that sort of Memnite, give Metalcraft zone. And what might excite me the most is there's 4 copies of Mana Tithe across the 75, 2 in the main, 2 in the board. I hope we get a lot of people with Tithe today. This deck has a clear plan. Let's go try to execute it. This is Mono White Hammer in Legacy. I'm on the play in round 1, and I can turn 1 Sigarda's Aid, turn 2 Stoneforge. I don't know if that's fast enough for this. I could also hide Sigarda's Aid from Prismatic Ending and just plains go, and then Stoneforge on 2, and then Aid plus Hammer. I could even Wasteland Aid Hammer on turn 3. I'll try this. I am the type of gamer who would rather have Esper Sentinel in my hand than Sigarda's Aid, but I need to let the deck do what it wants to do. I can't just draw cards in every game. So if my opponent spends Force of Will or Prismatic Ending on Sigarda's Aid, that's a piece of interaction they won't have for the pair of Stoneforge Mystics in my hand. Maybe I am just going to run out Sigarda's Aid and try to Goldfish. We could be clever in game 2 when we know the matchup. I am just going in on it here, trying to go fast, see what they want to do about it. My opponent also took 3 minutes to keep their opening hand. I hope they are not double queuing, they were just stepping away for a minute. Okay, they forced the Sigarda's Aid, the old 1 mana Hymn to Turok out of Mono White. They said in the chat, rando card detected, Force of Will. It's a good policy, I guess. I don't know what that is, get rid of it. There's probably some political joke about immigration reform there. Okay, now that I don't have a Sigarda's Aid, I think I just get Sophie and see if they want to start fighting over Stoneforges with me. I'm already holding a hammer. It's not like I need to invest one in the future. Fetching Tundra against me. Heck yeah. I hope to punish that quickly and ruthlessly. Tundra Trop. Staff of the Storyteller, okay. White is both the color that activates Staff of the Storyteller and the color that casts Swords to Plowshare, so I'm going to waste the Tundra here. Wasteland, take out Tundra. I don't think this deck has days, but I should have done this in the other order. Force pitching Drown in the Lock. My goodness. So many colors in this deck. Well, they're down to 1 card. I don't have any threats in my hand. If they just attack and pass the turn. Alright, we're cooking. Oh, that's a threat all day. Okay, Esper Sentinel. A tough card for the person who just missed a land drop to have to look at. And I will drop the Colossus Hammer in case I drop Puresteel Pally. I guess I should have kept that in my hand no matter what. Because now Sigarda's Aid doesn't equip it, and I don't get to draw a card off Puresteel Pally. Alright, that was an error. Found their land. Disappointing. Immediately punished. I deserve it. Sigarda's Aid. Get in. I wish I had a 11/11. Alas, I do not. I will cast my sword, though. I honestly kind of love when I'm immediately punished for doing the wrong thing in a game of Magic. Just really drive it home. Do you have a Plow as your last card? And exactly enough to pay for it. Oh my god. With the Spirit there, I didn't really... I guess I could have just not tried to attack this turn. And if they draw a card with Staff, then I equip. And now I'm kind of in the garbage when I could have been doing great. Staff found Ponder. God, they found Bayou. Everything is coming together here. Mox Opal is not what I want right now. What do I want right now? Puresteel Paladin, probably. I know what I don't want, and it's them to start making additional tokens. God, we just talked about this! Grist makes a token every turn. Holy shit, I'm so dead. It's also a removal spell every turn. How do I even beat this? Urza Saga is how I beat this. Mana Tithe the turn after Grist. Oh. Oh. My life is pain. Brackus draws an extra card off Staff. Grist charges the Staff again. I am misery incarnate right now. So I should not have... I'm just learning for the other 9 or more games we're going to play in this league. I should basically never deploy Hammer on an empty board, because Paladin would draw a card. Shit, I should concede. I should concede. And I can see before this resolves. Okay, good. I don't want them to see Mana Tithe. I'm not winning this game. So I should never play Hammer onto an empty board, I guess, unless I expect discard. And I could have leveraged my better position that game by at least drawing a card on the way out. Like, Plow's going to kill my creature no matter what. But if I don't try to attack that turn, I could at least draw a card by waiting for them to fetch or activate Staff before I throw my sword onto the creature. That seems so... I feel like that might be results-oriented thinking, and equipping my 3/3 and getting the pressure on with Sword of Fire and Ice, getting their blocker out of the way, seems honestly way better than like one of the two cards in their hand being Plow. I don't know. I'm not convinced on the second one. Definitely convinced on the first one. Okay, we're some sort of Staff of the Storyteller strategy. I want to grind against the control deck a little bit, or be able to grind. Needle can hit Staff of the Storyteller. I don't know if I have 6 cards, but I do want to try to find 5 here. If they're a deck full of removal, Cranial Plating, Sword of Fire and Ice already kind of has that problem of its actual equipment. There's no Cauldron in this list. Shave Mox Opal, that's not a card I want to draw 2 of if we go long. Swords to Plowshares, they're not a big creature deck. They have some creatures, but if it's like 1/1s and junk, I think I want to use Shadow Spear to get through that. I do like Mana Tithe, not enough to bring in more of them though. If they have Grist and Staff, is Sword of Fire and Ice even good? Their removal's white, their blockers are white, green, and black, literally every color except blue-red. Okay, I'm going like this. I'll keep this one. Multiple Esper Sentinels. I am going to lead on my artifact land. I'm a Mox Opal deck. I'm a little worried about Meltdown, Null Rod, Collector Roof kind of stuff out of this deck. Red is the only color we didn't see. Maybe I don't need to worry about Meltdown. But I gotta assume they have something. Like they could just force a Vigor in my upkeep. Oh god, please don't. Holy guacamole. Okay, I'm gonna play a second Esper Sentinel, then Wasteland them, and hope I don't get Force of Vigor in response. Force of Will. Okay, I could have Wastelanded first to draw a card here. I don't know, I was trying to get clever with the Wasteland, but Wasteland, is it ever better? Like, if they think they can save Force of Vigor for next turn and not give me a card, it's better to play Esper Sentinel first. If they're going to Force of Will, it's better to Wasteland first. I'll continue my poking. Pitch to Fairy Time Reveler to that Force of Will. Probably a good call. In Modern, you board that out in this matchup. I'm going to grab the Hammer. I have the Aid. I can cause trouble. Drown in the Lock is on, but I will draw a card if they cast... Oh my god, I have Mana Tithe. I'm going to get to Sigarda's Aid, Colossus Hammer, Mana Tithe. And even if they have something like Swords to Plowshares, if they pay the 1 for Sentinel, they get BTFO'd. Colossus Hammer on the stack in combat. Whip it to Esper Sentinel. Swords to Plowshares, do you pay the 1? Oh, they paid the 1. Boom. If we lose every match from here, I'm going to be happy because we just tricked someone into getting their Plow Mana Tithe because they paid for Esper Sentinel. Life is good. Opponents of 4. Grist doesn't work here. Teferi draws me a card and you a card, and I'm still attacking on board. Any non-creature spell is going to draw me a card because you don't have 11 extra mana. They're not a deck that can support Ice Fang Coatl with all these non-basics. Assassin's Trophy targeting Esper Sentinel. Okay. Doing it now before they can get tithed. They tried to pay 1. You need 10 more there, buddy. Would you like to pay 11? This is a combo, you see. There are basics in the deck. I'll go get one of them. Okay, plenty of lands here. I'm going to start by drawing a card, seeing if I can spike either Paladin or an equipment. I can draw another card and still play out all the things in my hand. That'll assist, pretty cool. Deck first. Then I'll play Retrofitter Foundry and Ornithopter in that order. In case they kill Ornithopter, I could flip it into a 4/4. Ornithopter represents lethal on this board. So does Nettlecyst, because I can equip it automatically to Stoneforge Mystic and give it air quotes haste. So I have 2 creatures with more than 4 power with an opponent at 3. Getting Energy Fluxed isn't great, but they still need Force of Will to beat this. Okay, so we go to my upkeep, and I'm going to start by flipping Ornithopter into a 4/4. That's the thing I don't have to pay for. Don't pay for this. Don't pay for this. Don't pay for Hammer. And Nettlecyst, present lethal, please. They Force of Will, they're at 2 with 0 cards in hand, and Stoneforge still probably finishes this game. Living Weapon happens first, and then I move the Nettlecyst over to Stoneforge, and I am good for this. And simply attack for 4. Nice. Okay. Beat the Energy Flux. Multiple removal spells, a Force of Will, and an Energy Flux. Not enough. Mana Tithe, too good. That Swords to Plowshares was a really awkward draw. I wonder if I should just be in on Mana Tithing all the way. They know about it now, so they'll think about it now, but that doesn't mean they can necessarily do anything about it now. But seeing their deck full of Teferi, Grist, Energy Flux, good chance there's Green Sun Zenith in this deck. They're going to have some clunky spells, and I'm here for it. I'm going in. My answers to Uro at this point are kill my opponent or Caracas. And a Tithe in the opener with Esper Sentinel. Sigarda's Aid. We're blazing here. Tropical Island does not cast Swords to Plowshares. Oh, get wrecked. I'm just going in like this. If I can be the jerk, bully them so they don't even get their mana under them, I want to be the jerk. And I'll play Ornithopter because I guess I can't Hammer next turn even though I have the Aid because I only have 1 mana. Black is probably a less important color in this deck than green is. Esper Sentinel, get down there. Brainstorm in response. I'm holding back my Ancient Den because we've seen Artifact Hate. Brainstorm resolves, and then Esper Sentinel's in there. Access to white, disappointing. Would be a tough beat if they slide a Null Rod in right now when my Mana Tithe is down. That's exactly what has occurred. That's why I didn't play Ancient Den. 2 Sigarda's Aids. Okay, and me without a Swords to Plowshares in my deck at all. They did have to fetch green to cast that, but okay, they have land number 3 anyway. Doesn't matter. I hope I can Mana Tithe something important right now. And now because they've seen Mana Tithe, they have to make the real decision of paying for Esper Sentinel or not. Because if I don't have the Tithe, you're a fool. If I do have the Tithe, you're a double fool. Okay, I have the Tithe. Spoilers. I cannot cast Nettlecyst because Ancient Den is my land. They're drowning in the lock my Esper Sentinel. Would you like to pay the 1? Did pay the 1, and I have the Tithe. Surely I don't have 2 Mana Tithes. Hope they untap and jam some 3 mana spell without a land drop. Shit, jam a 4 mana spell. 4 mana spell. Energy Flux, would you like to pay the 1? They learned not to pay the 1. Disappointing. Okay. Well, these artifacts were not doing me much anyway. Just turn to Collector Oof, all natural. And I'll Tithe this thing. They have 4 mana now. This is not getting much better. I'll show them how correct they were not to pay the 1. Okay, I'm not paying for Ancient Den. I will pay for Esper Sentinel for 1 turn. Not paying for Ornithopter. Okay, Stoneforge Mystic is something resembling a plan. They're going to shove Jace or Wandering Emperor or something. Just give me a card for it. Fairy Time Reveler. Okay. Paying the 1. They probably bounce Sigarda's Aid. Yep. Z. Okay, don't pay for Esper Sentinel. Drew a Hammer. Stoneforge Mystic. Let's go. The Teferi is a huge beating. Guess I'll get another hammer. Not being able to jump these in combat is a problem. I think this game is about over. Having Energy Flux in your deck and having it on time. Curving a Collector Roof into Energy Flux is a hell of a thing against Mono White Hammer. My plan here is cast Sigarda's Aid, cast Hammer, make them deal with my first 12 power creature. Oh, we're just chaining Teferis, okay. And bouncing Stoneforge is a temporary fix, but draws me more cards in the long term. I'd love a land that I can tap for mana here. That would be great. Or the third Sigarda's Aid. That Teferi did kind of tell me they don't have a better plan for Stoneforge Mystic. I'm gonna go to cleanup and discard Mox Opal. Or Mox Opal could be surprise damage with Nettle Cyst or surprise Metalcraft. I guess I'll discard one of the three Sigarda's Aids. Shorikai Genesis Engine, my goodness, that's a lot of blockers, but you can't activate it because of your own Collector Roof. This is a 4-mana card with no abilities. I'll take that. And they have to pay 2 for it every turn with Energy Flux. That's just good deck building. Okay, sick. Draw a land. I'm gonna run out 2 Sigarda's Aids this turn. I don't really want to attack the Collector Roof because that turns on Shorikai, who is currently just a big ugly brick. They have 1 card in their hand. Next turn they'll have 2. I could go Hammer, Hammer, Shadow Spear. I have a 23 power creature with Trample. I think I'm going to try to do it all at once here. Would you like to pay 2 for your 4 mana blank? They would. Okay. 1 card in hand. If it's Swords to Plowshares, or I guess they have Teferi, so it could be any removal spell. If it's a removal spell, I'm in trouble. If it's not, I win. Wasteland. Okay. I think Wasteland is better as Wasteland. I can't take them off any relevant colors here, so I will simply play my Wasteland, cast Colossus Hammer. Moment of Truth, team. There's Hammer. There's other Hammer. They know about Shadow Spear. They didn't know about second Hammer. And here we go, Shadow Spear. Did my plan work, or am I dead? Comes down to their last card in hand. Into combat we go. Attack my opponent's life points directly. They're spending mana. That's disappointing. Force of Vigor killing my 2 hammers. Okay. They put their oof under it. They do. Okay. They've decided that Shorikai is worth more than Collector Oof at this phase of the game, which I hope to punish the hell out of. But we'll see. Shorikai immediately went online. Yeah, Force of Vigor was a good one. That was not as bad as Swords to Plowshares would have been for me, but still not great. And they're immediately up to 2 cards in hand, having seen 4 cards. Discarding Sylvan Library. Brainstorm, Teferi ticked up. Swords to Plowshares, cool. Okay. We had 1 shot at this game and they had the answer. And now we are in the pooper. Evolved also. I think that's fine. I don't really draw cards or target things with my deck. Just 2 things the deck doesn't even do. Shadow Spear. I will pay 2 for. Still have hope for that one. Oh, hello. Puresteel Pally. They could bounce that with Teferi, but that's fine. They do only have 1 artifact in play. Not even close to Metalcraft. They are back to Hellbent before this draw step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can crew Shorikai. And my Caracas is tapped because it had to be. Wrist, disappointing. Wrist appointing. Theovold's attacking. Didn't bounce Pally. Oh, they didn't activate Teferi at all. I think they're panicking over there. It's great for me. Okay, if I pay for Shadow Spear, I need to draw an artifact to get Mox Opal online and Nettle Cyst active. I am going to pay 2. I think this upside is too big. Come on, land. Stoneforge is not bad. nor is it great, unfortunately. But I can tutor up another hammer and cause more problems. Hammer, still one artifact short of doing anything I want to do. Attacking with Puresteel Paladin there is not a good deal. Sentinel can delete my whole board if they want to, and then they can crew Shurikai and just get the game won. The thought occurred to me in game 1 that I ended up conceding to a Cabal Therapy, so they couldn't see my Mana Tithe. But the thought did occur to me that they took 3 minutes to keep their opening hand, and they're on this blue soup deck, and if I just never hit the concede button, they probably won't have time for the match. And here, with 3.5 minutes left to my 13, I feel like maybe that's true, but I am dead to Shurikai. Okay, despite multiple pieces of hate, we did put them to have it or die, and they did have it, so this was kind of an impressive showing for the deck, even against high levels of BS.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
On the draw in round 2 with a very exciting hand. I'm going to keep it. Got Tithe, Hammer, Aid, Creatures to carry. Opponent playing Bosh'nu as their land. They don't know the matchup yet. Count it. Ooh, this is mean. I think I want to plow this Dryad Arbor. I don't have a 1-drop to really put the hooks in. This looks like a turn 3 or 4. Go for it. But if I can mess them up in the meantime. Green Sun Zenith Bosh'nu. Good chance this is Elves. Yep. And no Forest to go with that Quarian Ranger. May or may not actually matter. Heritage Druid. Well, that makes Mana Tithing anything pretty tough. Okay, I've got options here. I think the only real option is play Puresteel Paladin and pass the turn and hope I'm still alive. Because then I can Hammer, or Aid Hammer, and if any of my top 2 cards are lands, we get to present a 22-point attack. We might just die this turn. But I don't think playing Aid holding up Mana Tithe was going to change this Cradle Heritage Druid setup. Oh wait, I don't need Sigarda's Aid. I just go Hammer, equip. That's what Puresteel Paladin is for. If they natural order me, it doesn't matter. If they have Wirewood Symbiote, I'm going to need Trample before I can do anything. Another Heritage D. 1 card left in hand and Cradle still active. They could Zenith or Natural Order or just Raw Hoof if they have any of those things. God. 8 mana in the pool. If they cast... Oh no, they had Allosaurus Shepherd, so I don't have to feel bad about them paying exactly 8 for a hoof here. Wasn't going to counter it anyway. Zenith for 1. They're getting Symbiote. Bummer. Okay. Now I need to... I think my plan... Well, nope, they have a Shepherd. God damn. I am just dead on the board. Unless I draw the Shadow Spear straight up, because I have Stoneforge Mystic that can find it on a subsequent turn, but I don't know that I'm going to get a subsequent turn. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 31. Yeah, Shadow Spear doesn't even stabilize here. Oh, their 1 random draw was another Zenith, so we can keep going here. They get Grist, kill my shit. Oh my god. Nobody lets me have fun! Okay. Quarian Ranger gets to attack for 1. The ultimate insult. We're dead on board. I just lost my draw engine and my chance at ever winning this game. I can't concede because I'm dead on board. March of Otherworldly Light is coming in. That's a removal spell. Grafdigger's Cage coming in. Shuts off half their stuff. Mana Tithe, I think, has to come out. They have zillions of mana in this deck, and they also just randomly have Allosaurus Shepherd, which They might shave on a copy of, but they also might just not, because it's also an overrun. I think this is what I'm going to do. Ingenious Myth is too slow for this matchup. Needle has targets, but I think I just need to focus on going fast and killing them. And my draw was so good against anyone who wasn't goldfishing on turn 3. I even plowed them on turn 1, and they still just goldfished on turn 3. Disgusting. Okay. This hand looks a lot like the last one, but I'm on the play this time. Clearing, aid, send it. Unfortunately, my Ancient Dens are 2 of my 3 mana sources, and if they accelerate a Zenith, they can have Oof on 2. Oh, that's almost good. I go Ancient Den. Nope, there is not a sequence that gets these cards into play in the order I want them in play. I can play Hammer, which would turn on Opal and let me cast Pally, but then I don't get to draw a card for that. I think I'm going to spend the investment in Stoneforge Mystic this time. And I could get a second Hammer, or I could just get the Shadow Spear now. I think I want that. And please don't cast Collector Oof right now. Attack for 2. They're fetching. Their second land. Come the fuck on. Okay, I drew a second non-artifact land source, so it doesn't matter. I can't Puresteel Paladin, but I can still put the pain on and attack first. I still lose to Force of Vigor here, but I'm always going to lose to Force of Vigor. Might as well make my attack. Colossus Hammer, get in there. Shadow Spear, get in there. And let's hope that the life gain keeps me out of reach. I had the option of just dealing 11 and wastelanding them. Just going to hope that this makes them dead on its own. Elvish Visionary is not inspiring for their chances. Can't Boseiju here. They can snuff out. And they can concede the game. Okay, cool. Outmuscled another natural turn 2 Collector Oof. Stop doing that, opponents. Come on. It's unsporting conduct. I think Paradise Mantle is worse than Mox Opal. I don't know why I had that the other way. Oh, yuck. First appearance of Urza Saga in this league, and it doesn't cast the spells that I need to cast in my hand. Easy mulligan. Okay, Swords to Plowshares and some stuff to do. I'm in. I think I want to send the Caracas to the bottom. It's either that or Sword, but the Ornithopter Sword with a removal spell to bridge the gap has me feeling kind of inspired. And I'm going to bottom Caracas. Oh, Thoughtseize shit. Well, if they take the Stoneforge, that's actually fine, because my plan was kind of put Sword on Ornithopter anyway. This is a creature I don't have to worry about. I am going to play out the Ornithopter, because with Mox Opal in hand, this gives me some hope to cast Sword next turn. I guess I can't cast and equip Sword next turn, so maybe that doesn't matter as much. But they had to play Boseiju as a land. I'm pretty into that. They know the matchup, and they still played a Boseiju as land. Just going to plow Nettle Sentinel and lower their options. Speaking of low options, how about this Sword of Fire? Nice. I am just going to pass the turn. We're both playing Drago. This makes me nervous. Hold on. So if we're both playing Drago, I can surprise them next turn with a Sword plus equip, but I could also just invest the Sword. Alright, it's fine. This frees up my mana in case I draw something to do next turn. They could just go land Natural Order for Archon of Valor's Reach and name Artifact. I have not shuffled yet, so Caracas is still at the bottom of my deck, but I don't expect a legend that I care about out of them. They can now hard cast Force of Vigor. I'm going to block. I don't think they have a way to deal 1 damage that doesn't deal 2 damage or kill my thing outright. This is where they play Party Crasher or something. Some sideboard bullshit. Yep, certainly some sideboard bullshit. Archon of Valor's Reach coming to lock this game up. Oh, Collector Oof. That one's annoying too, but it's not as bad. Because I have cards like Urza Saga in my deck. And I will run out the Opal at this point. Just Thoughtseize Protection. I probably should have drawn a card on my turn, see if I spike Swords to Plowshares and just connect with Sword for the win. Yeah, that was bad. I will draw a card now, though. Stoneforge Mystic. Yep, could have cast that last turn. Silent Clearing, and I will deploy a Sigarda's Aid because that equips Hammer next turn. And they didn't kill my Saga. Oh, God. I was about to say they didn't kill my Saga before it could make things. So we're going to have a at least medium-sized Glimpse turn here. Ranger. Okay, they would need Cradle to really keep going. There's the Cradle. Obviously. Heritage Druid. Okay, we're dead. Great. Don't give me hope. Why would you act like your hand doesn't do anything? Why would you natural order for Collector Roof and then like, oh, yeah, you're dead? Remember when we were having a good game 1 second ago? Giving you a pretend that you were in this game, giving you a chance? But we're not doing that anymore. So I think I might be able to attack for 20 this turn if they can't kill me now or come up with a Force of Vigor. Yeah, I can 20 them in the air. So all right, I can relax. Just don't Force of Vigor me. Don't channel up a Seiju right now. They do have plenty of elves to keep going. Or no, Symbiote was used already, but Ranger wasn't. They can do 3 more. 7 cards in hand. One of them's the land they just picked up. Cool. Natural order. What are we getting? There's Hoof. Is this lethal? 13. This is in for 23. I can make a 5/5 blocker at the cost of 2 life. Oh wait, it's a 4/4. 1. Oh yeah, Sigarda's Aid. Not an artifact. Notably. 23. -4, still dead. -6, still dead. Okay, great. This is the issue with mono white hammer time in Legacy. Is in Modern, it's the fastest thing. It puts everyone on the back foot. It is the most punishing thing to a misstep or a stumble. And in Legacy, just other decks are just faster than you. My opponent did almost nothing to interact with me that game, and they just beat me on the race. I could attack them for 20 in the air through the Collector, through all the other stuff they did, but they were like, nah, you're just dead. And that's how Legacy works. GG's. I am not actually as grouchy as I sound. I am expressing how I feel, but I'm not on tilt. This is what happens when you register mono white. On to the next round. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy to create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe. I'm on the draw for round 3 with another hand that looks good. We'll see if this one actually is. A lot of our hands have looked good so far. We're just seeing the gap between Modern and Legacy power level. Round 1, my opponent had Force of Will in their deck. Round 2, my opponent had a faster combo than me. Round 3, we're contending with Daze and Wasteland. Oh no. Ancient Den, Esper Sentinel. I'm starting here. And Daze right away. Welcome to Legacy Modern deck. No Wasteland. I'll take that as a positive sign. Ornithopter, that's fun. I can play Sigarda's Aid around Daze. And then I can put Ornithopter into play. And then I can hold up the options of making a 20 or a 10/12, casting Swords to Plowshares or mana tithing something. Silver did not flip again. Storm. Okay. No attack. I appreciate your honesty. Now I have an awkward choice to make, which is tap out in my end step to go for a plow. And I'm glad I didn't. Rewarded with some extra mana to operate on. And I'm going to start with Hammer. I can tithe a Bolt. If they have Force, I wasn't getting through this anyway. Force of Negation, pitching Delver. Okay. Let's deal with your Delver right now. And off we go. I can tithe their next play or plow their next creature. And any equipment is a banger. I would really like to win this game 1 because the meltdowns are going to be a problem in subsequent games. That Wasteland just took me off Metalcraft, but it also left them in a spot to get their Murktide Mana Tithed. I could save the Plow for this, but I want 2 shots at this. If they daze me, I want to be able to answer it, because I only have 1 mana per turn right now until I find another artifact. It's fine. That's why I did that. That is certainly another artifact. Well, I'm going to start with this one, because this one turns on the other one. It also just beats Murktide. I'm going to attack first. If I don't need to Plow, I'm not going to. Okay, opponent's at 10. Their hand is land and 2 mystery cards. No, it's 2 mystery cards. Chart a Course. Emergency Chart a Course. Trying to think of what in a Delver main deck can deal 12 to anything. I feel like they're on Brazen Borrower or Bust. Discarded a Brainstorm. They have to leave this Murktide back to block again. Plowing it is basically the same as attacking into it, because either way it's gone and they're not dead. But this way I get to keep Plow in my hand. And it would be at 6 instead of 10, but I wouldn't have Plow. DRC cannot block. Okay, we'll just go to my turn. Saga ticks up. Puresteel Paladin, a banger. Let's see, can you get Delirium? Do you have the Brazen Borrower? What is happening? They do have exactly Brazen Borrower. What a world. They have to target Ornithopter, which is a card I can simply cast again. And I think I could play Puresteel Paladin right now and re-equip. I think I need to do that. I think that's more useful than a construct. I'm going to put it on Ornithopter, not on Puresteel Paladin. Paladin dies to Bolt now, but if they get Delirium, I want to delete their creature. Alright, cool. That was fun. Against Delver. Needle on Wasteland. I wonder how important that is, or if I'm just supposed to outmuscle it. We've seen Mana Tithe now. Genius Smith. Ingenious Smith, March, and Nettle Cyst are my kind of grindy package. On the draw against Delver. I'm gonna cut Paradise Mantle and Cranial Plating. I should expect Meltdown in this matchup, so Ingenious Smith is something that can party in that universe. Get a little softer on Mox Opal. I feel like 2 is a good number of Mana Tithes. I might not need all 4. Hammer. Retrofitter gets smeared by Meltdown. It's not even a real sidestep. Sophie is good. Ornithopter is good. Ancient Den is pretty bad, but I can't cut it. If I feel like I'm over sideboarding right now, what are the cuts? Is it Nettle Cyst and 1 March? I'm all in on Smith. I would like my second March, even if I don't end up with Nettle Cyst. This is a matchup where I really miss Cauldra. I could shave another Opal for March. Shaving Opal seems so questionable against the Daze Wasteland deck, but Meltdown sweeps up Opal for free and kind of counters the next Opal because you don't have any artifacts to turn it on. It's kind of a risky proposition. I'll try it like this. Okay, immediately in trouble to Meltdown and Wasteland, but we're always going to be. I do have pretty good curve here. Esper Sentinel into Saga Smith. That's great. With 2 removal spells in my hand. Opponent mulled to 5. Oh my goodness. There's an Opal that is actually on, but here we are in the Meltdown world where I don't even want to play that. Lightning Bolt, wow, they're just giving me the card. They're like, yeah, have it, go ahead. It's not getting better. And there's a Wasteland, disappointing, that we fully expected that card to be in their deck. Basic Plains. The second Opal, not really where I wanted to be, not gonna lie. I boarded out 2 of them and drew both. Come on, white source, functional white source. Yeah! Ready to go. Genius Smith, let's party. I get an Ornithopter, and I think I'd rather play Opal. This triggers Smith. This only triggers once per turn. Playing Ornithopter now doesn't really do anything except expose me further to Meltdown. I've lost many games to white artifact decks who have the Ingenious Myth pivot. And when you're sitting on a handful of Meltdowns and stuff, like right now, Meltdown kills Mox Opal and nothing else. And there's a Lightning Bolt. A lot of respect for that one. I would argue the correct amount of respect. Draw land, flow to colorless. And I think Shadow Spear is the card I would like sitting in play right now. Another Saga. Another Smith. Playing around Daze, conveniently. Grabbing Esper Sentinel, who does die to Meltdown. If I play Ornithopter, this grows Ingenious Smith, and I can either equip Shadow Spear or play Esper Sentinel right now. I'm just so scared of Meltdown. I'm going to equip Shadow Spear. Opponent's got 3 cards in their hand. I have multiple engines online. Like, I'm feeling good about this situation unless I get swept somehow. I'm going to try to ignore it. All right, cool. They just don't have it. Can't beat the multiple Smiths. We're on the board with a win, and it, against friggin' Izzet Delver. This league is a success. Let's go. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. On the play for round 4, I have turn 1 Esper Sentinel. I don't quite have anything else, because Wasteland is not planes, but if I can Wasteland plus add Sigarda's Aid or Wasteland hold up Tithe, I'm excited about a turn 1 Esper Sentinel. I play enough CEDH to be very excited about this, and it feels like cheating that we get 4 of them in a 60 card deck instead of 1 in a 100 card deck. Off we go. Opponent mulled to 5. We might just die here. If I can get to the Mana Tithe phase of the game, I'm ready to go. Swamp. Swamp pass. Okay, Swamp does not get Wastelanded. Mull to 5, Swamp go. I both desperately want to play Esper Sentinel and desperately want to hold up Mana Tithe at the same time. I think I'm going for the second Sentinel. Invest in success. If I'm not dead in 1, then I'll be able to play the game. Faithless Looting. Pay me. But don't kill me. Okay, I am getting paid. But am I also getting killed? To be determined. There's an Archon and a Grizzlebrand in there. Shit. Mana Tithe would have been the correct play. Now we know. Okay, they went for Grizzlebrand, though. That weirdly gives me a chance. Unmasked targeting me. Oh no, they know about my Mana Tithe. Yeah, I got greedy with the card draw. I should have just held up Tithe here. They saw my hand and they're continuing to shred cards. Okay. Well, they can't reanimate. They need 2 mana sources now. Caracas and Swords of Plowshares are both in my deck. I'm holding Sigarda's Aid. If I draw a hammer, I can get in. Unmasking me again. I need to take my Sigarda's Aids. They have multiple discard spells, then I'm quickly running out of plans. Bummer. Lesson here is if you can hold up Mana Tithe, do it. I'm just going to draw Caracas and win the game, though. Come on. Easy game deck. 1 outer, 50 card deck. We got this. Traxa and a bunch of lands discarded in the end step. Urza Saga's coming in. I'll Wasteland my opponent. And I'm going to cast Shadow Spear. Okay. Racing a Grizzlebrand is not generally advisable, but it is the plan that I have, and I'm in a deck that can do it. They have to attack before they can reanimate. Then they go to 2 if they get Atraxa. And I draw a bunch of cards if they do anything. Wow, they're just drawing 7. Going for it. That's a bold draw 7. They know about Mana Tithe, and they can't reanimate here. And I have 2 attackers on board. In 14 cards, I imagine they could figure it out. Animate dead. I'm going to draw some cards and then cast Mana Tithe. Okay, you saw this card 3 times last turn. It's in the graveyard. Okay, yeah, they said punted LOL in the chat. I agree, yeah. I think that was a let Grizzlebrand just be a 6/7 lifelink kind of game. Grafdigger's Cage Leylines are coming in. Mana Tides are coming in. I punted that game by not holding up Mana Tide, then they punted it right back. They were all just being polite. That's what happened. I think this is a game where we're going to win or we're going to lose, and we don't need a lot of cute stuff in between, like Retrofitter Foundry. I kind of always like Shadow Spear. And getting a 10 plus power lifelink creature can race most of the things in their deck if we do end up in that kind of situation. Swords to Plowshares does interact with the board, and normally I like to play, like, I'm not going to give them a monster, I'm not going to plan for them having one, but I don't know if I get to do that here. The extra mana of Mox Opal could be everything in a matchup like this one. Paladin is an engine. Esper Sentinel's an engine. Sigarda's Aid is an engine. Do I cut a hammer? Because like we talked about, there's 12 routes to hammer and 8 ways to equip it in the deck. So if cutting a hammer, I still have a pretty balanced plan A. Maybe it is an Ornithopter, and yikes. Like, I don't want to dilute myself too much, but they are a way more busted deck than me. I think I'm going to shave a Stoneforge. I've cut so many equipment. I don't know. This might just be a complete mess, but I know I'm bringing in the correct things. I'm not sure that I'm bringing out the correct things. The bad news in a matchup like this is I am an artifact and an enchantment deck, so whether they think my hate is artifact and enchantment based or not, they're going to bring in their Serenities and Force of Vigors and Wear Tears and whatever they got. This hand sucks. It doesn't go that fast and doesn't interact with them. This one goes pretty fast, but not fast enough to beat Legacy Reanimator on the draw, so I'm going to mull it again. Opponent's also on 5. Here I am with 0 mana sources that are useful. Saga can pop into Grafdigger's Cage now, but that's 3 turns away and I'm on the draw, so I don't think that's going to get me there. I'm going to 4. Jesus Christ, I'm going to 3. Alright, I'm going to stop at 3. Not that I'm happy with it, but it just is what it is. And I'm going to keep land 2 Esper Sentinels. I don't know, we're dead. This was just bad runs on mulligans. I have a lot of reasonable cards in my deck for the matchup, and we just didn't find any of them. Let's try to recoup some of these dead cards. Lotus Petal, they can pay 1, 2, or they could just kill me. Alright, that's worse. It's like, oh, they can pay 1 for this, but nope. Take your card. I'm doing something better, is what they said. Show and telling? What's going on? Magus of the Moon. Okay, that's bad. I do have Mox Opal, but I need Ancient Tomb or another 0 to turn it on. Alright, well, I better get this Opal out before my opponent can discard it, because it's the only thing resembling a plan that I have. Urza Saga doesn't work anymore. There are a bunch of basic planes in my deck. If I draw a planes or an artifact that I can cast and turn on Opal, we're actually doing okay here. That's neither of those things. Well, let's race. They have an effect in my end step. Paid for the Esper Sentinel. Grizzlebrand's in the graveyard now. Enemy dead has to give me a card, even if it is the Mana Tithe, I can't cast it. I'm going to let them have Grizzlebrand, but if they unmask me, I'm going to concede, because I don't want them to see the ley line. That's a mountain. Okay, I'll concede to the grief. I don't want them to see what I've got over here. Okay, game 3. I get one on the play now. Maybe I won't mull to 3. And I don't think my deck changes. I'm just going right back in with the same stuff. I'm going to keep a proactive 7 with Leyline of the Void. Let's go. It is one of those two things. I am going to keep, though. Urza Saga can tutor up Mox Opal someday. There's never been a hand in history of Magic so dead to Serenity, but I can do stuff. Ornithopter can carry the Shadow Spear if I draw a land next turn. And I just gotta have some faith. Fetching Verdant Catacombs. Alright, Emergency Faithless Looting. They're digging for an out. Cool. Just discarded a bunch of lands. Lotus Petal. Oh no. They're gonna Serenity. Petal, Petal, Serenity. Please don't. Okay, I drew Esper Sentinel, which does not help my case here. I'm gonna pass and hope I'm still alive next turn. If they Magus of the Moon me here, that's kind of devastating because my Saga dies. I just need one more turn to get Opal, and then we're playing the game. Unmasked targeting me. Got a handful of blanks here, for the most part. If they want to take one of my creatures and reanimate it, that's a thing they can do. Looks like we're show and telling. Oh, god damn it. Alright, gonna have to draw a Plains. Okay, not mad. Thank you. Thank you, deck. I appreciate you and all the things you do for me. The next non-Saga land, doesn't matter what it is, can equip Shadow Spear. And now they're going to start playing out Petals, just getting ahead of Esper Sentinel. They do have attacks this turn. They're not really going to have attacks next turn. I guess I don't know their life. They can shove into multiple Esper Sentinels if they want. Yeah, I'm not going to block that. They totally have attacks next turn. I am pushing for damage. Magus poking back. Now we're in a race that I am currently winning, and if I equip Shadow Spear, I'm winning with absolute unity. I am equipping an Esper Sentinel because that is relevant text on the Esper Sentinel. Now it costs 3 to stop me from drawing 2 cards, or 1 or 2, if you want to stop either of the cards. Snuff out. Okay, so they had a chance to keep one of their Lotus Petals here. Yeah, if they had responded to the equip, they would have been able to keep that Lotus Petal. Or they would have stopped me from drawing this card. They did keep that Petal. But that came at the cost of 4 life, which is kind of a lot when we're in a 1 versus 2 damage race. Or a 2 damage race with lifelink involved. No, don't do more stuff. Animate dead. They're taking my Esper Sentinel. Sure, that is a 0/1 creature. And they had to sack a Petal to keep me from drawing a card when they get it. Heal. I'm feeling good right now. I can drop another Sentinel, or I could equip the Shadow Spear that I have. Equipping Esper Sentinel is the same as playing a second one as far as how much mana they have to pay to stop me from getting a card. And I enjoy the lifelink quite a bit. Okay, now we're doing it. Stoneforge Mystic is live as well. They'd have to lose their Lotus Petal to stop me from drawing a card. Basic Plains, come on, come on. 1 card left in their hand, they discarded it in Entomb. Now I can Stoneforge Mystic, hold up Plow. I could Pally. I could Stoneforge Mystic and Sentinel. I think Mystic and Sentinel is where I want to be in life. Mystic gives me a very real land if they find the Serenity. Or at least something to do. Maybe very real plan is generous. I don't have that many cool equipments left on my deck. Yeah, they're just all hammers. I'm going to need a Sigarda's Aid. Or, nope, holding Puresteel Paladin. They are dead next turn in my hand. If they don't do something big. Thoughtseize qualifies. Just drawing millions of cards off this Thoughtseize. They probably take Paladin, because that's the one that actually kills them. They could also reasonably look at this hand and just concede, realizing they don't have it beat. Okay, passing the turn. Mana Tithe, hello. I love you. Mox Opal, get in. I will pay for this. Or would I like to pay 0? I sure will. That's funny. I was ready to pay 1, but it's actually 0. Life is good. And I think I want the Paladin in play, because that lets me move Shadow Spear onto Stoneforge Mystic, get a good attack in, then move it back to Sentinel, all basically for free. And I think I'm going to hold up Mana Tithe this turn rather than drop Stoneforge, because I can Stoneforge, get Hammer, cast Hammer all next turn. Basically, I give up playing around discard, but discard could take the Hammer anyway. So yeah, I'll just make sure I can try to interact with something here, but I'm pretty sure they're just dead. Show and tell is how I lose this game, and Mana Tithe is how I interact with that. And we got the GGs. rallying in the second half of the league. We've got a positive record playoff in the final round coming. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I am on the draw in the final round against Easy Money Marksman, who is a known legacy moto grinder. My hand is a heater for modern. We'll see if it keeps up. This opponent frequently is just playing the best deck and trying to win with it. We'll see if that is true here. Tropical Island Ponder. I mean, if I'm the judge, that looks like the best deck. But it's not Delver, it's not something like Reanimator. Oh, sick. Now I get to play around Wasteland and I don't have to hurt myself. I'm going to lead on Sentinel. I can go Aid plus Hammer next turn, all of which cost an extra 1 if they don't want to give me a card. A very important thing about Esper Sentinel, though, that I don't know if you all do this, but my brain does it a lot, is it doesn't make spells cost 1 more. It just kind of punishes the opponent if they don't pay 1 more. And we got a Force of Will on that, so a lot of respect. But like, it's not like they can't Swords to Plowshares and Esper Sentinel for 1 mana. They can. They literally can. I'm just going to dump out all my permanents here. Sigarda's Aid and Retrofitter Foundry. Okay, so there's some sort of blue soup deck. Oh wow, you're a blue soup Daze deck with Sylvan Library. That's scary. Kinda glad I put Sigarda's Aid first. And we'll see if you're a Wasteland deck too. That would make sense given Daze and green mana for Loam. They kept all their cards. Yikes. Okay. There's a Wasteland. Okay, here's another Saga. I'll just keep putting that pressure on you. The second I have even 1 creature, this Colossus Hammer becomes a serious threat, but I currently don't. So here we are. And if they are a rug deck, if there's not also white mana in this, like if this is just some rug tempo deck, burn spells are not going to get through a 10-12. That land is not a Wasteland. That creature is a Murktide Regent. The race is on, kids. Second Aid, that's not really what I want. But I can make, if they main deck a Dress Down, I'm in trouble here. If they bolt in my end step, that kills one of them. If they don't bolt in the end step, that's actually really interesting, because then that puts me on, do I make a construct on my turn? Misty Rainforest, they fetched a 4 life. Ponder. Dress Down now looking like a likely thing they're digging for. Chose to shuffle. Good news for me. Okay, we're getting to my end step. Moment of Truth on the Dress Down. Here to my turn. And 5 cards in their hand. If I commit to another construct, and Hammer doesn't save the first one, and I get completely blown out by Dress Down. If I don't commit, I die to Bolt plus Force of Will. I am not going to make a second construct. I'm just going to try to go in on this one. Colossus Hammer. We get our Aid trigger. They were in there. Dress Down and Bolt don't work anymore. I'm going to draw a card with Silent Clearing with my floating mana. If I can find Mana Tithe, that makes my life better. Ancient Den makes this creature bigger. Okay, Brazen Borrower is now the out I'm worried about. Okay, and they did have it. I'm going to plow the Murktide Regent in response to this. Like, if I have Mana Tithe, which I don't, but I want to make them think about it, and they don't really want to fight this fight. Like, if they have Force of Will and I have Mana Tithe in that spot, it's better to plow with all the other stuff still on the stack, so they don't know what fight they still need to fight this turn. I did put them back up to 10. They still have Sylvan Library. They're still paying money in, or life into it. Now to Tarmogoyf, that is Fudge Enormous. They tapped their Wasteland to cast it, though. Interesting, leaving up red when they could have taken me off an option. Come on, a creature. Any creature. Or Sigarda's Aid. For sure not what I'm looking for, I promise. Drop this. Number 3. They can wasteland me down to 1 mana if I use my Silent Clearing. That's tough. And now because they had Brazen Borrower and not Bolt or Dress Down, I wish I had made a second construct. It's tough to play around everything, especially when your opponent has drawn their whole deck with the turn 2 Sylvan Library. Not going to draw now with Silent Clearing. Okay, I am dead on the board, so I better draw a card. And I'm dead. Okay. I had a shot at that and chose to play around 2 other things instead of one thing. I think they're all kind of equally likely, or Bolt is the most likely one, and then Dress Down and Brazen Borrower are both 1 or 2 ofs at best. I think I'm going into my medium range grind thing. This is going to be a meltdown strategy. See if I can remember what I did in the previous Delver matchup. I don't know that they actually have Delver. They might be bigger than that. Sword of Fire and Ice, kind of awkward against Tarmogoyf, but still thing that makes every little Ornithopter and whatever into a threat. Retrofitter is awkward because it does get swept up in Meltdown with the worst of them, but it also can turn Urza Saga into 1-card win the game engine if they only have 1-for-1 removal and not Meltdown. I think this is what I'm going to do. Yeah, I think Nettle Cyst is better than Retrofitter. Okay, basic lands, normal magic cards, I'm in. It's really hard to assemble a contraption against a deck with so much efficient removal. So I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to play cards like normal. Okay, they are an actual Delver deck, which means I'm not going to wasteland them. Oh. This Swords of Plowshares is tempting. I'm going to go with Ingenious Smith. This is the one that if it gets dazed, I care the least. Once again, I miss Cauldra in the list right now. Delver flipped right away. They have Trop, Ponder in their hand and 5 other cards. A lot of cards. There's a Trop. Here's the Ponder. Chose to shuffle. Okay, I'm going to lead on Esper Sentinel and then play Stoneforge. I was going to plow Delver, but now Esper Sentinel makes interacting so dubious that, you know, like, go ahead, force my Stoneforge. If they force this, I can waste and plow. Okay, let's hope that's good. If they wasteland me, I'm non-functional. Okay, cool. They're missing land drops. That's where I want to be with my life. Urza Saga. Stoneforge Mystic. Let's go. This is the position I'm looking for in a game of Magic. And, alright. I'm holding Sigarda's Aid, so... Or Sigarda's Aid is in play, so I'm just going to make a 11-12 right now while they can't do anything. Cool. Alright, got him. Who's the Delver deck now? I don't think anything changes on the play versus draw. This is just the deck that I have. Let's go. On the draw, this hand's pretty stable. Basic lands, multiple engines, no removal I'm a little worried about. If they start with a non-basic Ponder, I am going to waste. It's always kind of sus to just wasteland a Delver deck. But with the speed of my hand, I don't hate that. Please don't be a Stifle deck. That would get me so good here. Okay, Emergency Brainstorm in response. I like it. And they didn't have a play with this Tropical Island. Unless they brainstormed into another land and a Delver, I'm likely to just crack off another Wasteland this turn. Alright, please cast Ponder and not Delver. Ponder, not Delver. Dragon's Rage Chandler, bummer. Okay, real decision to make. And so if I Wasteland them and it works, I'm going to feel great. If I Wasteland them and it doesn't work, I'm going to feel terrible. I'm going to try to go for it. We've seen what their deck does on 2 mana. We've also seen what their deck does on 0. So I'm going to try to push this. Okay, Wasteland. That's fine. 1/1 creature. You have no spells to play. I can start to invest in my future. if I play Colossus Hammer now, I would need Puresteel Paladin later to get it onto something, but it does turn on Mox Opal next turn. I think I'm going to invest in this. Paladins are in my deck somewhere. Oh no. Devastating. This gives them Delirious. I needed them to not have that for another turn. I mean, devastating might be dramatic. I'm doing plenty here. They did choose to shuffle. I've successfully played around Days with the Mox Opal. They wasteland my Ancient Den. Oh, sick. If they wasteland my Ancient Den, then my Urza Saga gets to ride. I think I would rather... I mean, Stoneforge can get sort of fire and ice. Ingenious Smith just kind of gets big over time. I'm going to go for Stoneforge. This is a scarier thing. Nettle Cyst is a big O all by itself. Shadow Spear is relevant in this matchup all the time. That can also come out of Saga, though. It's either Sophie or Nettle Cyst. I'm going to get the sword. And I'm going to plow. If they have Days, they got me, but I don't want them getting more value out of this DRC. Days also sets back this land drop that they may or may not have good use for. Okay, had to force the Will of Plow. I'm in. Build another DRC. Okay, pass the turn. This Wasteland is pretty incentivized because it also turns off Mox Opal, unless they're on just save it for Saga, no questions asked mode, which is also a fine mode to be in. A very responsible mode. Lightning Bolt, sure. We're going full Wasteland Denial mode. Nope. It appears they are saving it for exactly Urza Saga, which I will oblige. Let's see if they want to fire it off in response to the mana trigger. Nope. Gonna get to cast spells. I like that. How about another Stoneforge Mystic? This one's gonna get Nettle Cyst. Or no, I think I want to start gaining life. I get Shadow Spear. And I'm going to March of Otherworldly Light. They Force of Will last turn, unless they drew Days right now. This is going to work, and if I can get the pressure off, I actually feel like I'm miles ahead. Cool. Okay, this Wasteland has existed for the entire turn cycle. Do they have a 3-drop they're trying to cast? Is that what's going on? Or are they trying to melt down for 1? That would be pretty effective. That would be a reason not to waste. They did find land number 3. If they've been waiting for a 3-drop, they now have access to it. Are you playing Energy Flux too? Do I have to play against 2 of those in a league? I can't imagine a red deck would be playing Energy Flux though. Just Meltdown. Murktide Regent is here as an 8/8. And we're in my turn with all my lands still. Opponent's got big plans for that Wasteland. Basic Plains, happy to see that. I'm going to play Ingenious Smith, who's going to find an Esper Sentinel, who I don't want to play right now. Esper Sentinel or Mox Opal. I think it's Esper Sentinel. Okay, Esper Sentinel is in my hand. I'm going to take 8 from this Murktide and try to make something happen next turn, I guess. Don't love this. I am holding the Shadow Spear. I invested in that. Opponent's still not wastelanding. 1 of 5. If they've held Double Bolt this whole game, I'm dead. They did fetch red instead of green last turn when they had the option, so Double Bolt is live AF. They also know I'm holding Shadow Spear and I can't tutor it out, so if they're holding Force of Will, Brotherhood's End, destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less. Okay. Float. And my artifacts die. And make a construct. Which grows the Smith, which I definitely would have remembered in paper. Nope. Miss trigger guaranteed. Colossus Hammer. And I cannot gain enough life or do enough in this situation. Is there a 1 mana artifact that helps me here? I don't think so. If I get Opal, does that add to the number of things I can do this turn? Oh, I could get Ornithopter and block for a turn. That's actually nuts. Ornithopter, do your thing, buddy. And cast Shadow Spear. Equip Shadow Spear to Ingenious Smith. Deck with all my creatures. I do go to 9 on this attack as well. So even if they have Bolt for Ornithopter, I'm not quite dead. Oh my god. 9 life all around. Murktide Regent versus Urza Saga, the classic Modern Horizons 2 matchup. Have they been holding 2 sweepers this whole time? Brotherhood's End. Remember when I said they must have a 3-mana spell? When your opponent gives you information, use it. This Wasteland had multiple good shots at multiple relevant objects over several turns, and they never used it. And it's not because they forgot they have Wasteland, it's because they were gearing up for a big 3-mana spell. And I gotta hope they don't have another one. If they deal 3 to all creatures, that kills everything except for Ingenious Smith and puts me to 1, and I don't have a lethal backswing. Bummer. Yep, there's that. Okay, opponents. I go to 1, opponents at 9. I need to draw Ornithopter. Stoneforge Mystic is not enough. Oh, Sigarda's Aid would have done it. Esper Sentinel, trigger, Colossus Hammer. Not enough. Good games. The second Brotherhood's End made it happen. GG's. Multiple sweepers out of the red deck. What are you going to do? That was a great game, though. Okay, this deck. I will, of course, acknowledge the reality that I did not play it perfectly. There were a couple moments where I was like, oh yeah, this would have been better the other way. But I think, in general, we showcased what the deck is about. Vanitithe was awesome. Very excited to play with that card in Legacy. The power level of this deck is certainly there. The issue is that it plays at a modern power level, and we're playing Legacy. We kept a bunch of hands that represent turn 3 or 4 goldfishes, or 11-11 on turn 3, and then we just died on the opponent's turn 3. We played against Reanimator this league, we played against Elves this league. We got Dazed, we got Force of Will, we got Wastelanded. None of that exists in Modern, where this deck is a heater. And those differences really showed here. Obviously, someone's doing the work. Someone top 8'd a challenge with it. Somebody has tuned enough with this list to know that they want Sword of Fire and Ice over Cauldron, which seems strange to me at first blush, but I haven't been working on this deck the way I presume the people who are winning with it have. So there's some stuff in here that is a result of testing and tuning and play pattern and matchup understanding that I don't have. But I think this was a good showcase of trying to go super fast without being particularly disruptive in Legacy, and choosing to go this speed with creatures specifically. Like, Oops All Spells is a more interactive deck that wins faster than this one. Reanimator, Elves, Show and Tell, various Storm variants, they are all more interactive decks that go faster than this one. And all of those decks get to largely avoid creature removal. I mean, Elves cares about it a little bit, but they have so many creatures that they just push through it. But this is a deck that frequently collapses to a single Swords to Plowshares, and also to a Force of Will. It's just sort of inviting the type of main deck interaction that people have, and you're not getting the virtual card advantage that most combo decks in the format get. So it's a fun thing. You will win some games. We did, in fact, win some games. And I imagine with tighter play, understanding the sideboard and mulligan a little better, maybe we flip this 2-3 into a 3-2. But understand you are fighting an uphill battle, choosing to register what is a modern power level deck in Legacy, and I'm glad we could showcase both powering through and getting shut down. Not that I like losing, but this channel's not really about winning and losing. It's about showing what's out there. And we did show that this is out there. Derek, thank you for asking me to play a deck on the channel. Hope you enjoyed this. Baby Ethan, hope you're doing well. Everybody else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon and all the links that support the channel in the video description, and I'll see you next time.